Screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so yesterday what we did, we created the lab setup for our installation, the HANA installation and the applications of installation. These were the 3 VMs that we created yesterday. Let me start them now. Anybody having any query about yesterday's session, any doubts? It's taking time to start up. Sometimes it happens if there are no resources available, the VMs take some time to start up. The smaller VMs, they are up. This HANA DB VMs, it's a bigger, it has a large capacity. Sometimes it takes time. Okay, so I think it is done now. It's very good that it took only 10-15 minutes to start up this HANA VM. Last time, one time I was taking a class, it took more than 1 hour to bring up the system. Okay, so here are the systems that we created, VMs that we created yesterday. This is the HANA VM that we created, and this is the S4HANA application server VM. So we had installed the HANA database yesterday. Today we will be installing the application server. Okay, so now our HANA database is started. Now we can start with the application server installation. Okay, this is my sheet for installing the application server. The first one, this is the information sheet. It contains all the information about the application server. What is the type of the VM, whether it's a physical VM, whether it's a virtual machine, or whether it's a cloud VM or VM on the cloud. Then what is the size of this VM? What is the CPU, memory, swap disk? And this is the file system hierarchy, the operating system disk of 30 GB, data disk of 80 GB. These are the mount points or file system that will be creating USR, SAP, SAP MNT, and /PKGS for package, copying the dumps or packages. This is the product availability matrix. In case if you want to check for some cross check any versions and all, you can go to the product availability matrix. But of course, you will need SAP S user ID for accessing this portal. Now, these are the packages which we will be needing today for installing the S4HANA application server. Okay, this is the operating system, and apart from that, we start with the software provisioning manager. This is the installer, SAP installer. This is the package or a application which installs your SAP application server or S4HANA server. Then you need the SAP kernel, you have the SAP host agent, then you have the database client, and then you have the installation export. These are the information about your system. This is the domain, this is the root user password, the master password, host name, IP address. Yes, you need to change the IP address, otherwise you'll get the error. Let me check my IP address for the S4HANA application server. It is 10.4.2.4. 10.4.24. Sorry, this is for the database. Database is 10.4.1.4. 10.4.1.4 H4D. This is my instance number. These are the operating system users which were created during the installation of HANA database. This is the HANA database user. Then this is 10.4.2.4. This is my application server IP. This is the SID of my application server. This was the SID of my HANA database. These are the instance number, and these are the password. This is the password for the OS user. This is the password for the SAP application, and this is the password for the database that will be created now today at the time of installing the application server. Any doubts, any query as of now? Okay, so now let's start. So this is my S4HANA application server. Okay, I will log in with the user which I created at the time of creating the VM, the sysadmin user, and this is the password. I'm logging with the normal user, and then I will change to the root user, sudo to the root user, and then I will set the password for my root user. So I set the password of my root user to root123. Now change the preserve hostname parameter. By default, it is set to true. By default, it is set to false. You need to change it to true. Okay, after this, I'm changing my host name. So you are changing the host name in two locations. First, you are changing the host name in the memory. This command will only change the host name in the memory. But as soon as you restart your machine, it will again fall back to the earlier one. So if you want to set your host name permanently, you have to use this command. You have to save this host name inside this file /etc hostname. Then only it will be saved permanently. So here in these two commands, we are changing the hostname temporarily also, and here we are changing the hostname permanent also. So that after reboot also, it will not, it doesn't get reverted to the old hostname. So here I'm setting the hostname over here. Okay, so here the hostname is set. If you want to check the hostname, you can set with this command hostname. So now the hostname is set to hostname dev1. If you want to check the hostname full hostname minus f. Okay, so actually this hostname minus f, it's required by it requires the DNS service to get the reply. So if the D command works, so this is the domain. Short name. I think only the short name works over here. But for other thing, you need the DNS service. Okay, so I've set the host name. Let's move forward. Now log out and log in again, so that this in your session, this actually in your current session, this is the host name. So just to refresh this session with the new host name, we are logging out and we're logging again with the root user. So I'm logging out. I'm logged out again. Let me just set the password for my root user inside over here. So again and again, I don't need to enter the password. So I set the password. Now I can open the session. Here it is. Now I've logged in with this. You can see the new updated host name over here in this current session. The host name is set. Now enter the pass the hostname entry in the etc host file, so that for your local resolution. Okay, for resolving getting it resolved locally. So here are the two entries. I'm making the entry for the database server also and for the application server also. Make an entry of both the application database and application in the etc host file. In the database etc host file, you don't need to make an entry of the application server. Okay, because database is not dependent on the application server. Your application is dependent on the database server. So here it is. I'm making an entry over here. Check the content of the etc host file. So now you can see that two entries have come over here, the database and the application server entries. Okay, now let me check ping and check whether it is replying or not. Okay, so my host names are pinging for both the HANA database as well as my S4HANA application server. This is done. Now configure for the DNS suffix. Here I'm configuring the DNS suffix. If you check the default value of this parameter, you will find that the DNS suffix is not set by default. The DNS suffix is not set by default, and that is the why it is the cloud service provider has entered its own suffix. This is the suffix provided by the cloud service provider. Okay, this is some random number. Then you have this internal dot cloud app dot net. This is the domain suffix provided by the cloud service provider. So I'm setting it over here with my own DNS name, that is solutrix.in. So here I'm copying it. Done. And if I now check the updated value, so here you can see that it has inserted the domain in this against this parameter. Now if you check the etcresolve.com, you can see that it has now inserted my domain name before the domain suffix provided by the cloud provider. Now let me set the time and date. So the current time and date is set to UTC, Universal Time Coordinate. Let it be set to my local time zone. So here I've set it to my local time zone. No need to set the NTP. In case if you want to set the NTP, you can use this steps to configure your NTP service in your on-premise servers. Tune system for S4HANA. Yesterday we tuned the system for HANA database. Today we are going to tune it for the S4HANA application server. So you can see the change over here. Today we'll be using the solution S4HANA app server. Yesterday we set it to S4HANA DB server. You see the solution list over here. Yesterday we set it to the S4HANA DB server. This is the one which we set yesterday, the solution. Today we'll be setting this VM for S4HANA application server. Okay, let me first start this service. It is not enabled by default. So let me see here. It is also saying if you wish to automatically activate the solution tuning options after reboot, you must enable and start the SAP Tune service. So by default, it is not enabled. If you see the status of this service, so by default, it is not enabled. It is disabled. So I'm going to enable this service. Okay, so here you can see it has been enabled now. Now I'm going to tune this system for S4HANA application server. Okay, so you can just click on SAP Tune Solution Simulate. First, you can simulate. If you want to do it step by step, first simulate the solution. So check if there is any error given or not. This is not an error. Don't think that in this is red text or error. This is just information. I think these parameters, this information, this is just information. So it is not any error. So now apply this solution. Okay, so here if you see the last line, all tuning options for the SAP solutions have been applied successfully. So I applied the solution. Now after applying, you can verify it, whether everything is okay or not. So here you can see in the last line, the system fully conforms to the tuning guidelines of the specified SAP solution. So we have set the tuning solutions for S4HANA application server. Okay, now you can check the solution list again. So here you can see this solution has been applied. This asterisk, it marked that this solution has been applied for this VM. It means all these SAP nodes, all the parameters, tuning parameters and values which are given in this SAP nodes as per the guidelines in this SAP nodes, all the parameters have been applied in this VM at the OS level. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, Musavar, we are good.
Yes. Okay, so we have tuned the system for S4HANA parameters. Now we have to configure the swap. So yesterday for the HANA database, we configured only 2 GB of swap space. Okay, it is recommended, or it is as per the guideline laid by for HANA installation. You need only minimum 2 GB of swap space for it. Okay. Now for this application server, we need at least, if you see the information over here, we need at least 20 GB of swap space. Okay, so here don't make the mistake of configuring 2 GB of swap space as for your HANA database. Here we'll be configuring 20 GB of swap space. Okay, And so this is the, I told you yesterday, this is the package, or this is the agent service provided by the cloud provider Azure. Only it is only applicable in your Azure environment, Azure cloud service, that you can find this agent. If you are using anything else, if you are using an on-premise virtual VM or a physical machine, okay, or you are in some other cloud provider, for example AWS or Google or something, then you have to use the other option. So this is how you can configure your swap space for other than Azure environments. Okay, you need to create a file. This is how dd command, with the dd command you will need to create a file, and then you need to create a swap file system on that file. And after creating a SAP file system, you need to enter that, make an entry in the etc FS file, so that after the next reboot, it will automatically mount the SAP file system at the boot time. So this is it. So this is a easy option over here. So that is why I'm using the Azure environment agent to configure SAP space. Okay, so let us. So here, if you see in the command, in the first step, I'm taking a backup of this file, waagent.conf. So here I'm taking a backup with the, if you see over here. So currently, if I check in the system /etc waagent, okay, so there is no backup over here. It is just one file over here. So now I'm taking the backup of this file. Okay, here I'm taking the backup. Now, if you check the here option, you can see there's a backup file also. So there is in waagent.conf file, and plus there is a file with today's date. So I've taken the backup. Now changing the parameters inside the file. Okay. If you see that most of my commands which are using, they are just automated, just copy paste. There are actually two reasons for that why I'm using all this automated just copy paste method. The first thing is that if I use a vi command, in my previous classes, most of the students got confused with the vi command. They used to get inside the vi command, but they didn't knew how to save and come out of that file. So instead of all this, I just and the second option is, if I start using a vi command, it will take a lot of time to go and manually edit each and every file, save it, and then. So this is the reason I'm just using this automated steps. So you can see directly, so that it's very easy for me to just copy and paste. Just copy the steps over here and just paste it. All the changes has been done. If you now compare both the files, the previous backup and the current file, you can see the difference what it has done. So earlier the format was no, here in the new current file it is format is equal to yes. Earlier the mount point was mnt resource, currently the mount point is /mnt. Enable swap, earlier no, current enable swap yes. And the swap size earlier was 0, now I set it to 20480 MB, that is 20 GB. That is it. So this is I've configured. Now you just need to restart this WAgent service for that to take effect. So here I've restarted the service. Now if you check the SAP space, you can see over here. Now the SAP space is set to 20 GB. Okay. And here you can see the SAP space, it has been set to 20 GB. And here we are creating the file systems which is required for your application server. I'll just copy paste all in one go. Okay, so is it clear? So here, just let me explain you what we did over here. Here you check with the ls block command all the disks which are attached to your VM. So you can see there's an SDA disk, that's a root disk. Then you have an additional disk, temporary disk over here. Then you have this 3 disk which we created at the time of creating the VM, 32 GB disk. Then I created the physical volume on this 3 disk. Then I created a volume group with this 3 disk. Then I created a logical volume for USR SAP, logical volume for SAP MNT, and logical volume for packages. Then I formatted all the 3 file system. I created a file system on all the 3 partitions or logical volume. Then I made an entry of all this file system into my etc FS file. This is the content of the etc FS file after. And then you have this, I created the directories and then I mounted it. So all these 3 file systems have been mounted successfully. USR SAP, SAP MNT, and packages. And if you see the current df-h command, you can see all the 3 mount points over here with their space, disk size, and everything. Yes, is it clear till now? Any doubts or queries? Okay, so now we will start with the application server installation. Before starting the installation, we'll just take a break of 10 minutes and we'll reconnect again. Is it okay with everyone?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have set up our operating system for installing the S4HANA application server. Okay, now our operating system is ready. Now let's move to the installation part. Okay, so here we are going to do the installation. This is the pre-installation steps over here. This is we are going to copy the AZ copy utility inside the VM and the SAP car utility. AZ copy is for downloading the packages which are required for installing the S4HANA 2020 application server, and SAP car utility is for extracting the SWPM package. Okay, so this is we are going to copy till here. Here we are extracting the SWPM and we'll run the SWPM to install SAP HANA. And these are the steps that we are going to follow. The first is the prerequisites check. Okay, you run a prerequisites check to check whether your operating system meets all the requirement for installing the S4HANA 2020 application server. After, if it succeeds successfully, then we are going to do the installation. In the installation, it is divided into 3 parts. First, we install the ASCS instance, then we install the database instance, and in the third and the last step, we install the primary application server instance. Okay, so this is how we do it. So let us start over here. This is the S4HANA application server VM. I need to open a command prompt. Okay. So now we are going to go inside the C drive packages directory, which contains all our content, all the utilities which are required. So here is the thing, here is the AZ copy utility for Linux. This one is without any extension, so it is for Linux. This one with the .txt extension, this is for the Windows operating system. This is for Windows. And here is the SAP car utility. Again, you can see 2 utilities over here. This is for Linux and this utility is for Windows. So we are going to install, copy both the AZ copy and SAP car utility for Linux in the VM. So we have gone inside the directory. This is the command to copy it to the VM. It's asking for the root password. So here you can see it has copied both the file. If you now check in the /pkgs, you can see both the. Okay, so there is a mistake. We have copied it inside the database. This is the mistake over here. It has not been copied in the database, but it has to copy in the host. Yes, here it is. So again, run the same command to copy it. So here it is copied now. If you check the content of packages, you can see both the files, it has been copied over here, but they are still not executable. If you check the permissions of the file, these files are still not executable. You cannot execute this file. So in order to make it executable, you have to run this command chmod and you have to add the executable permission to both of these files, AZ copy and SAP car. Okay, so here I'm running this. And now if you check the content, you can see both of these files. You can see from the color green also they have become executable. Also you can see the permissions over here. It has been added executable permissions to both the files. So we have copied this utility and we have this is done. Okay, let me just check it. Okay, so now we have copied both this utility inside the file. Now let us download the packages which are required for installing the S4HANA application server. And I have already, let me start this command. Okay, 31st March. So actually this link has expired. If you check the link over here, it has expired on 31st of March. That is why it is giving an error. Let me check if I have the latest link or not. Yes, here I have the latest link for one starting from 1st of April up till 30th of June. So I had the link, but I have not updated this sheet. It's updated now. So I updated it. Let me again copy and paste it into inside here. Okay, so now you can see it has started downloading. So it was the problem with the link. So done now. So downloading the files. If you want to have a look what files it will be downloading, I've already told you earlier. It will be downloading this SWPM file, then all the files related to the kernel. The kernel version is 7.81, patch level 19. Okay, then you have this SAP host agent, then the database client, and then last we have this installation export. Keep downloading. Anyone having any queries and doubts, you can ask. We can utilize this time, the wait time over here. I think today there are no doubts and queries. Yesterday, many people had many doubts and queries.
Hi, can you show where to download these packages from the SAP website itself?
Yes, from this SAP website, you need to have a S user ID for downloading this software. You can go for this software. This is the URL for it: launchpad.sap, launchpad.support.sap.com.
Yeah. I have the S user.
So you can go in this. You can open this URL. If you're downloading for S4HANA, you can directly open this category for S. Go in the starting with S. You can see like SAP S4HANA. So click over here. Here under S4HANA, just scroll down and you can see the categories. Here you can see it is for SAP S4HANA. This is the category for S4HANA. Just click on it. Here you can see different versions over here: 1709, 1809, 1909, 2020, and 2021. So whatever you need to just select on this. So here you can go under installation and automatic download. If you click on this, you'll just find one package over here. So don't go over in this, just go in automatic download. If you click over, you can see all the packages over here. These are all the language packages. These are all the language packages. This is for Deutsch language. This is for English. Okay, then these are the installation export. It is starting from export 1, and there are, I think, for 2020 there are 24. I think yes, 24 export files are there. So these are the export files. So you have to download all the 24 export files. No need for downloading the language. If you don't have any plan to install the language, you can just skip the language download part. There are many languages. I think more than 40 or some languages are there. So you can download the 24 export files. So this is for the S4HANA, and then you can, if you want to go download the SWPM, you need to go into check for the SWPM 2.0, SWPM 20. But for installing S4HANA, you need to download SWPM 2.0. Okay, so here you can see the list of all the 2.0 version SP11.6. Which one we are using over here? Okay, we are using SP07, and the latest release is SP11. So yeah, and this is for all the operating system. You can see it is for the AIX, HPUX, Linux on Z series. If you want, you can search for Linux x86 over here. Linux on x86. Linux on x86. So here you will see only the packages which are there for Linux on x86. So here you can download the SWPM. So SWPM, then for the kernel you have to go into kernel. You can search for this kernel over here. Okay, so here you can see a list of all the kernels which are available starting from the earlier ones. So just scroll down, come to the the below bottom one. Here you can find the kernel, but here it is also it is showing you for 720. So actually it is looking in this location for this. Let me come on the home screen. Sorry. Okay, so in this location, actually, we are searching under installation and upgrades. So for installation and upgrade, that is the reason it is not able to search the latest kernel. You have to go into support packages and patches. Okay, the latest kernels can be only downloaded under support packages and patches. Click over here, click on the alphabetical order, go scroll down to K, HIJK. So here, click on K, and under this category, you will find the SAP kernel. Okay, so here are the kernels. So here you can select this is a 32-bit Unicode, a 64-bit Unicode. So click on 64-bit Unicode. Okay, so here you can see from 7.22, 4953, 7.77, 7.81. So we are installing the 7.81 kernel. So you can go on the 7.81, click on it. Here you need to make the selection which operating system you are using, and here you need to select which database, whether you are downloading for the database independent, that is the SAP exe file, and then you have this for different databases. This will be the SAP exe DB file. So the kernel is actually comes in two parts. One is the database independent and the other is the database dependent. So here you can download the SAP exe file. So here you can see the latest file for it is SAP exe, and the PL patch level is 200. So this is for SAP exe. And now if you want to download for the database dependent part, then you need to select your SAP HANA database. And here you can download for this SAP XDB part. So these are the two parts of the kernel. Apart from these two, you also need two other extra files for it, which is the IGS. IGS is for Internet Graphics Server. So if you want to search for it, you can search the IGS over here. Okay, so here is the IGS part. You can go scroll down, you can check for the IGS 7.1, 7.81. Click on this, you can download the latest IGS from here, the one, and also you'll be needing IGS helper. So one is the IGS file, the name is IGS exe. So one is the IGS exe and second is the IGS helper. So these are the two additional files that you need while installing, while downloading the kernel file. So this is for the IGS helper. So these are the two files. These are the four files of your kernel. If you check in this location, what I have downloaded. So here in this kernel, there are two kernels. For this kernel, if I check the content of this slash pkgs, you can see there are four files in it. One is the SAP XDB, that is a kernel database dependent. This is the database independent, and this is the IGS exe and the IGS helper. So these are the four files which you need while at the time of installing. Okay, then the kernel, then you come the host agent. Again, you can just search for the host agent over here and you get all the options over here. SAP host agent. Okay, so this is your SAP host agent over here. These are the files which is needed. Software categories, it is not showing any software categories. You might, if you are confused over here, you can directly go to the initial page. Okay, from this here, you can directly go into alphabetical order, H, go into H. Okay, here you can go down and you can you get the SAP host agent category over here. Yes, SAP host agent. Under SAP host agent, you have two versions, the 7.21 and 7.22. For 7.21, it ends at 51. So the last version, if you see the version over here, this version is 50. So this is 7.21. This is SAP host agent 7.21. After from 52, it 52 starts with the 7.22 version. If you go over, you can see that it starts with the 52 version. So with the 52 version, you will get the 7.22 SAP host agent 7.22. And if you go back for SAP 7.21, it ends at 51. It ends at 51. So, and then again, if you want to download the database, you can just click on IMDb client. IMDb underscore client. Okay, so you'll get the all the packages for your DB client. That is it. Now let us move forward. The packages have been downloaded. You can check all the packages have been downloaded over here. You can go into the directory, CD packages. All the packages are downloaded over here. You can see the database client. Okay, everything will find that I had downloaded two versions. The reason is that we'll be installing with the base version, and after when the topic comes for the upgrade and update and upgrade, then we'll be updating to the higher version. The same happens with the IMDb client. Same happens with the kernel. Then you have this host agent also. We have this host agent 50 and 54. Okay. So now let us start extract the SWPM. So to start the installation, you need to extract the XWPM archive. So here I'm extracting the SWPM archive. Okay, it has extracted. Now if you check the content, you can see this new directory over here. See, where is it? This is the new directory. So this was the archive. It has extracted this into the new directory. And if you check why, this is the reason I have marked it -R. So actually in my command, I have given that create a new directory by this name and extract all these files inside this directory. So here I have extracted the disk. Now you have to go inside this directory, the new directory in the extracted directory where it has extracted all the SWPM files. These are the files. Here you have to run the SAP inst file. This is the actually SAP installer. So now it has started the SWPM. Now you can see the URL. Open your browser and paste the following URL address to access the GUI. Okay, so this is the URL. You need to open your browser and paste this URL in the browser to access the SWPM. So before using it, let me install a new browser because we only have default Internet Explorer browser, which gives a lots of issues and slow. So let me go. I have already downloaded in the packages. I have this Firefox browser installer. So I will install my Firefox browser or opening the SWPM. It is getting installed. So here it is installed. Make Firefox my default browser. So the default browser. Not now. So yeah, my Firefox browser is ready. Okay, so now here I'm opening my Firefox browser and paste the URL which you copied from your after running your SWPM or SAP Inst. This is a browser. Okay, so here it is saying okay, it is not able to find the server as far as day one. Yes, it is able to, so reach day one. Yeah, maybe I missed out this part. Okay, so while configuring the application, while configuring the operating system, I missed out this part. So we didn't made an entry over here in the etc host file of the patient host, not the operating system, not the VM etc host file, but the etc host file of your patient host. So here I need to make this entry. Okay, so now you can see apart from this database entry, now you can see the application server entry also over here. Now if I want to check ping and check whether it is able to ping or not. So now you can see that it's pinging correctly with my host name. Okay. So now just refresh this page. Okay, now you can see this page over here. Just click on advanced, accept the risk and continue. That is asking for the username and password. Which username you will need over here? Okay, so you will need the root user here. You need to provide the root username and password over here. The root user and the root password. Okay. So here is the screen for the software provisioning manager. If you see from here, this is the screen for the software provisioning manager. From here, you can install. These are the products that you can install from here. SAP S4HANA Server 2020, SAP S4HANA Foundation, SAP ABAP, SAP S4HANA Server 1909, and this again 1909, then 1809, 1809 on HANA, and all this. These are the supported products that you need. If you want to install SAP S4HANA 2020, then you will have to download the latest or the SWPM after this, which is higher version from this version. From there, you will find that option to install the S4HANA Server 2021. So this only supports up till 2020. Okay, so from here, what we are going to do, we are going to run a prerequisites check. SAP S4HANA Server 2020, and this is S4HANA data, SAP HANA database preparation prerequisite check. This is the path. So SAP S4HANA Server 2020, SAP HANA database preparations prerequisite check for SAP S4HANA Server 2020. Next. Okay, so here it is asking for the options that you need to what options you will select for doing the prerequisite check. So here you can check the database instance, but this is not actually a database instance. This is over here only we are going to install the application server. So let me check what we are in. Okay, so we will be selecting all the four. No issues. We'll select all the four over here and just click on next. Okay, database instance just over here next. Here we have selected this. We selected the four options. Okay, go to next. Okay, now it is asking the location for your SAP EXE archive. Can you see over here? It is asking the location for your SAP EXE archive. So here it is asking the location for SAP exe, and if you see below over here, you can see it is asking for SAP exe.sar file. So you have to provide the location for your SAP exe file, and it is under this location. Okay. Next. Now it will look for the SAP exe file, it will extract it, and even if everything is okay, it will move forward. We provided this also. Okay, so now if you scroll down, you can see over there, it has found this archive. Under this, it has found this SAP exe file, and you can see the status has now become available. Okay, so now we can move forward. Next. Okay, this is a summary of all the parameters that you have selected. You can review it. If you want to edit any, make any changes in the parameter, you can just select that parameter name, and you can click on revise below over here. If you click on revise, it will again take you to the same page over here. You can make the modification on that page and again come back to this summary. So, but we don't have to make any changes. So I will not make any, I will not select any checkbox, and I'll just click on next. Okay, so if you see over here, you can see that all the conditions have been met. There is no error. As you can see, all the result code is okay. You can see the host name must be alphanumeric string. It can contains A to Z. These are all the conditions for the host name, and we have met all the conditions. Okay, the maximum length should be 13 characters. Okay, it can only contain a hyphen. It can only contain a minus or hyphen. Okay, it can be alphanumeric. It can only contain alphabets and numbers. And special characters, it can only contain a minus. So we have met all the conditions for the host name. Then with the RAM size, for the selected services, at least 3 GB memory are required. But we are using a 16 GB memory. So minimum 3 GB is required, but we have allotted 16 GB of memory. And the last is your SAP size. For the selected services, at least 20 GB of SAP size is required. Okay, and we are using 20 GB. So we have met all the conditions required for installing the application server. Now you can just click on next. Okay, so here it is executed successfully. It's completed. Just click on OK. Close and exit. Don't close the web page. Don't close this browser, because otherwise again you have to open the browser and put the URL. We will reuse the same browser and the same URL. Okay, the current SWPM has exited. The installer has exited. If you come over here in here, okay, it's not exited yet. You have to just click on Control C to come out of the installer. Press Control C to exit the installer. Again, click on the same SAP INST. Again, just click on the last command. Again, restart the installer, fresh installer. Again, start the fresh installer. So again, it is given the same URL. Just come on the browser, just click on refresh. Okay, so now again you can see this. Now we'll start with the installation. We have done the prerequisite check. Now we'll start with the installation. So the first instance that we are going to install is the ASTS instance. Okay, this is the central services for ABAP server. This is the path for it, SAP S4HANA Server 2020. SAP S4HANA Server 2020, SAP HANA Database Installation, Application Server, ABAP, Distributed Instance, ASCS Instance, Distributed System, ASCS Instance. Okay, so you have selected this, just click on next. Now it is asking for your parameter settings, parameter mode, typical or custom. So click on the custom mode, click on next. If you want to see the detail, what is a typical mode and what is a custom mode, you can read this over here. If you choose a typical, the option is perform with default settings. Okay, if you choose custom, you are prompted for all parameters. So we are going to select custom. Next. Now it is asking for your SAP system ID, SAP SID. So come over here. So we have already passed this screen for the parameter settings. Now we are on the, this is asking for your SAP SID. So here we are going to get SAP SID S4D. This is my SAP SID. Next. Okay, here it is giving you SAP system domain name. It is showing you what domain to use for this application server. So it's already selected the correct value. We don't need to make any changes in this screen. So wherever in this screen where there are no changes, it will not find the reference here in this Excel sheet. So whatever screen or whatever options are not given here, it means you just have to click on next. Take the default value, click on next. Okay, master password. The password is used for all users that are created. So here I'm setting the master password for my application server. Okay, password for all users. Next, all the users which will be created during this S4HANA application server installation, their default password will be taken as password 123 unless you want to change it. So now this is the first user, S4D ADM. So it is going to create the user, see it is giving the password for this user, S4D ADM. So by default, it is taking the master password which you have set in the previous screen. If you want to continue with the same master password, you can click on next. If you want to change it, you can change it here. So I'm just clicking next with the default option, default values. Next. Okay, so yes, this screen also has passed. And now it is asking for the SAP. If you scroll down, it is asking for the SAP EXE archive, and it is saying is still missing. So just click over, just select this location path, paste it over here, and click on next. It will verify the archive which is there inside this directory. It will validate the file. Okay, so if you come down now, you can see that it is available. So now just click on next. Collecting conditions to be checked. Okay, now it is asking for the SAP host agent. It is asking for the location of your SAP host agent archive file. Come over here. Okay, this screen is done. Now this is the path of my SAP host agent archive file. Do the path over here. Next. Okay, so here you can see now if you scroll down, you can see it is available. Now just click on next. Okay, here again it is creating a new user, operating system user by the name SAP ADM. Again, it has taken the default, the master password. If you want to change it, you can change it here, or you can just click on next. Okay, so here it is giving the details of the ASCS instance. So this is the ASCS instance number, the number of the ASCS instance, and this is the ASCS instance host. Just click on next. Okay, these are all the default values. ABAP message server port 3600, internal ABAP message server port 3900. Next. Okay, it is asking you whether if you want to install an SAP web dispatcher integrated in the ASCS instance and install a gateway integrated in the ASCS instance. We are not going to install any of these options. Just click on next. Skip setting of security parameters, not recommended. So don't skip it, just click on next. Okay, now this is the last screen. Okay, it is saying that limit installation of directory access. So you can, if you want to, what it is saying, you can read this, the SAP ins directory, the SAP ins underscore ins dir. This is a directory which is created under /tmp. Okay, and all the information about this SWPM is stored under this directory. So it belongs to the group SAP INST. If this group is available, it is created automatically as a local group. For security reason, SAP recommends that you remove the operating system users from the group SAP INST on the Unix. It is this after the execution of the software provisioning manager. So during the installation, what it does, it creates this directory and assign it to the user group SAP INST. But it is saying after this SWP finishes, remove the directory from the SAP INST group. So just clean up operating system users. Which users will be cleaned or which users will be removed from this group? This is the S4D ADM user. So after selecting this, just click on next. So this is this was the package for the S4HANA host agent, and this is the last screen overview. Done. Now just click on next. Okay, this is the parameter summary. If you want, you can review it. If you want to revise or change anything, you can do it now, or else you can just click on next. Now it will start with the installation of the ASCS instance. Okay, so it has completed over here. You can see the ASCS installation is successful. Click on OK. Now, if you go in the system and if you check for this, open a new session. Now log in with the SID ADM user, that is S4D ADM user. Okay, now if you check the instance, if you check, then you can find the instance over here. So we install for the SAP. This is for the 00 instance number. This is your ASCS instance. Now, if you check the status of the instance, you can see that it is running. This is your message server, this is your encrypt server, and it is running. But if you check the status of your primary application server, it will give an error because we have still not installed the primary application server. We only installed the ASCS instance. Okay, so there it is. So this installation is completed. Click on close, exit. Okay, after exit, you need to again come out of this screen, Control C, and you have to again run the installer for installing the next option, which is your database instance. Okay, before installing the database instance, there is a prerequisite over here. There is a condition. You have to change the backup destination. Okay, but default backup destination is set as USR, SAP, SID, and something, and then the backup location. Okay, so if this is a backup location, then you have to create a huge size for your /HANA shared location. Actually, this is the location. You have to go in your database system, not here. So here, if you see, this is the location USR SAP SID HDB03. Here it will create the backup directory, and here it will take all the backup. But if you see the file system size that we have created, we have only created the HANA shared directory of 20 GB. So 20 GB is not enough for taking the backups. We have created a separate mount point / backup. If you see, we have created a separate mount point / backup of 200 GB for taking the backup. So that is the reason we have to change the options, which you have to change this parameter right now. So for changing this parameter, you have to first, we will have to install the HANA, this HANA Studio. So we need to install the HANA Studio. So it is not here. I think we need to download the HANA Studio. We can change it to parameter. Let it will download the software. So the link downloaded. Let me check the package name. This is the HANA Studio. Actually, this should be there on the patient host. So this is the wrong location. No problem. I'll make the changes later. So this is the package that we need, and this is the URL that we have. Okay, so we need to download this package. This is the package that we need to download from here. So I've got the command. Let me just paste it in my. So I already have it. DB properties. So it is downloading the HANA Studio. Okay, so it's already downloaded. Now if you check it over here, here is the HANA Studio. Here is the package. So you need to go inside this location. CD packages. We are already in CD packages. Extract this file, HANA Studio. Extract the HANA Studio. So if you see over here, it is getting extracted inside this directory or folder. Okay, so it has been extracted. Now you need to run this command. You can run the SDB setup. This file also you can execute it for installing the HANA Studio, or you can just execute this command. One line command. It has all the parameters which is required for installing the HANA Studio, and you can just paste it here. It will start the installation. Okay, so it is installed now. And if you want to see, you can find the HANA Studio over here. Here is the HANA Studio. You can just move it or copy to the desktop, create a link on the desktop. So this is just a one-time configuration. Use this as a default and do not ask again, launch. Okay, so this is the HANA Studio master password. Do you want to provide a password hint? Yes, sir. Okay, you can just give a question. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4. Let's close this welcome window. And here is a HANA Studio application. Okay. Now just click on create, add HDB day 1, instance number 03, multiple containers, system database. This is the, you can say, dev system description. Next, the system user password. Finish. So this is my connection for my system DB. I need to create another connection for my tenant database. 03 multiple containers tenant database H4D. This is for the development system. Next, store and user. Okay, so here are the two connections. This is for my system database and this is for my tenant database. Right click over here, just click, double click on the backup. And here backup configuration. In the backup configuration, we need to change this path, the backup destination path. So what is it showing over here? Okay, so as for system DB, the system DB backup configuration file system backup, so you have to change it to /backup. So here you just need to remove the initial part. You just need to remove this location, make it /backup. /backup or remove it for data. And here you need to remove. So this is the path that we are setting for /backup and /backup log. After this, just save it. Okay, then it has been saved. So we have done this part. It is done now. You can just now minimize the HANA Studio and we can go back to our screen. Okay. So now let us start with the database instance installation. Okay, again going to just restart your SAP installer, SAP INST. Okay, so now come back to the browser and just refresh it. Okay, so here we are. Now go for SAP S4HANA Server 2020. Okay, then installation, SAP S4HANA 2020, SAP HANA installation, application server ABAP, distributed instance, ASCS we have already installed. Now go for database instance. Now we have to select the database instance. Next. Here you need to make select custom. Next. Your profiles available, just click on next. Master password is asking for the master password. Okay, so custom done. Now I'm asking for master password. Next. Okay, database host. It is asking the details of the database system. Where is your database hosted, or where is your database? So here you need to. This is my database host, HDB Dev 1. Okay, instance number 0303, instance number, database SID H4D. Okay, database SID H4D. So just enter all this information, click on next. If it finds any error, if it is not able to see what it is saying over here, database connection with data system cannot be set up. Check that the database online password for the system is correct. So what mistake we have made over here? Now click on OK. So the mistake over is that the password which it has taken the master password for which we gave at the time of running this SWPM. But actually the password of my system user is not password 123. Okay, if you check over here, the password for the user system is not password 123. If you go for yesterday's installation, if you check for the information over here, the master password for here for the HANA database is in India 123, and the password for the system user is also India 123. So this is the reason why it gave an error. So come back again over here, remove this password and give the master password for the give the password for the system user. Now click on next. Okay, now it is checking the time zone. Now see, it has moved forward. It means it has found the database. So this done. Okay, for the system user, I think this was for the system user. Okay, now comes the system database administrator. So this is for the system database administrator. So here again the same password. Next. It is asking for the kernel. See, now it is asking for the SAP exe file as well as the SAP XDB file. So just give the path of the location where your kernel is located, and then click on next. Okay, so now it has find the kernel file, both the SAP exe and SAP XDB. Let's click on next. Now it will ask for the location for your host agent. So actually host agent is already installed during a last ASCS installation time. So it will just give you this, just click on next. It is asking for the host agent. In case if you give an upgraded version, higher version, it will install that. If it found the same version, then it will move forward without installing. Okay, so here it says it has found the available installation. Just click on next. Now it is asking for all the S4HANA core file. This is the export files, installation export files of your S4HANA 2020 application server. This is the location for it. Now, if you provide the location for this, it will take approximately 20 minutes to validate or verify all the installation exports. So I'm giving the location over here and I'm just clicking on next. This screen will take at least 20 minutes for completion. Okay, so by the time it is getting verified, it will take 20 minutes. So we'll meet after 10-15 minutes. We'll take a break now. By the time this is getting verified. Okay, someone is saying my voice is too low. Is my voice too low for everyone?
No, sir, we are good. For me, it is good.
Okay, so I think for who has asked it,
Sam.
Sam. So Sam, I think there may be some issue from your end. If you check, can you check your speaker or earphone, whatever you're using? Okay, so now we'll take a break of like 15 minutes while this gets completed. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, hi everyone. You still there? Hello.
Yes, yes, we are there.
Yes,
Yes, sorry for the delay. I got a call, so it got delayed. So now you can see that it has crossed it. If you see this over here, S4HANA, and this, you can see it is available.
Yes, Avani.
The packages are available, and this is the location. Just click on next. Let me start. Recording is already started. Okay, just click on next. So this is done. Now we have to give the password for HANA DB SID ADM. Okay, so now if you scroll down, it is showing you all for all the export locations and files. So the first one, the previous screen was for the export one. This is for all the remaining 23 export files. So it is everything is available. There is no issue, no problem. We can just continue forward. Okay, so now it is asking for the schema password again. Okay, for this is for the DBA cockpit. Okay, so normally what is it? The database is installed. Now this S4 application server, it will create a schema in the database. Okay, it will create, actually it will create two schemas. One is for the DBA cockpit. DBA cockpit will contain all the monitoring or analytics related data, and the other schema will be your SAP HANA DB. The name of the schema is SAP HANA DB. That schema, SAP HANA DB, will contain all the data of your application server. Whatever tables, objects, everything will be go inside your SAP HANA DB schema. So this is for your SAP DBA cockpit. It will create a schema, and for that schema, one user will be created DBA cockpit, and this is the password for that user DBA cockpit. Okay, so one schema will be created, and one user with the same name as the schema will be created, and this is the password for the user. Next, just click on next. So now if you see, now it is showing you the schema for SAP HANA DB. This is the main schema for your application server. All your application related data, all your user related data, everything, all the information, all the, for example, the sales order, purchase order, all your master data, all your employee reports, everything will go inside your this schema. It will also create a user by the same name as the schema, SAP HANA DB, and this is the password for that user. This user will be created inside the database. The DBA cockpit user and the SAP HANA DB user will be created inside the database. Okay, previously the users which you saw was that SID ADM and SAP ADM. These two users will be created on your operating system level, and these two users will be created in your database level. Just click on next. Okay, so here it is asking nothing. So just click on next. No, don't make any changes. Click on it. Just click on next. Okay, so now these are the important HANA related SQL parameters, database related parameters. Okay, so this is for index. This is the file in which the parameter will go. This is the section, and this is the parameter. Client distribution mode, method, prefix. If you see, this is one you can identify this parameter, log mode. So log mode, right now it is in overwrite mode. Overwrite mode means it will disable the log mode. No logs will be generated during the installation. During the database instance installation, it will put the database in overwrite mode, or it will disable the logging. After the database instance is installed, it will again change or enable the log mode. It will enable the log mode after the installation. Okay, so this is also, you just have to click on next. If you want to make any changes, you can make it. You can just click on add, and you can make the changes now. But for the time being, just click on next. Okay, now here it is asking you for the password of your HANA DB SID ADM. It is asking you the password for your HANA DB SID ADM. So you have to give the password over here. This is the password for my HANA DB SID ADM. This is the operating system user which was created on your database system or database VM. I'm giving it over here. Just click on next. Getting default data backup location. See here it is getting the location for your default data backup. Okay, and this is, it is asking for the client path strategy, whether you want to install the client database client locally or in a central client directory. If you install, for example, if you have multiple host environment for your HANA database, then if you are selecting the first option, it will install the client on each of the hosts locally on the local file system, on the local disk. But if you select the central, then it will install it centrally in one location. The reason behind is that if it is centrally located, then you don't need to update the client on each of the HANA hosts. You can just do it once and it will update the centrally the files which are centrally located, and you don't need to do it on each of the hosts. So just click on don't make any changes. Just click on next. Now it is asking the path. It will ask for the path for your HANA DB client. Okay, it is asking your path for your HANA client. Okay, give the path, click on next. It will verify the file. Okay, so here it has found the file available. Just click on next. Okay, here it is asking clean up operating system user. Just click on yes, clean up operating system user and click on next. It will display the parameter summary. You can verify the parameter summary, and if you want to make any changes, you can do it, or you can just click on next and start the installation. Now it has started the installation. If you want, you can check for the log files. These are the log files which are changed and updated during the installation. Okay, and you can also follow the task list. This is the task list, at which task it is right now. System profile templates, unpack SAP archives, install SAP HANA database client. These are the different tasks over here which it will do during the installation. Okay, so here we have done with this. We have started the installation. This is your, if you want to monitor. If you want to monitor it over here, you can monitor it from here. Backup. Here I need to change the location because I have changed it to /backup. /backup data. Here instead of HANA shared, I can also /backup. Let me copy this command and paste it in your database VM, not in your application VM, but in your database VM. Here. Okay. So here you can see these are the 4 mount points. We are monitoring these mount points. Okay. So here it is. The data is 120 GB size. In the currently the use is 6.8. Available is 114. Log is of 40 GB. Use 4.2. Available 36. So right now everything is in green, no issues, nothing. This is your location for your HANA data. This is location for your data volume files. See, this is the data volume. So right now it is only of 3.5 GB. This is the location for your log. These are for your log segments. So if you see over here, it is creating or it is updating some logs right now. And this is the location of backup. It will take some time to fill up this location. I think just again, it's not, I will change it only till this location. It is exporting load jobs. 17%. Use 6%, 11%, 48%, 1%. Okay, so here you can see the movement. Can you see the movement over here? It is creating log segments. You can see this file getting updated, or this file getting increase in size. Okay, now it is creating. Now this was the log segment. This was 1, by log segment 0, log segment 1. It is now creating the log segment 3. Each log segment is of 1 GB. Each log segment is of 1 GB. Now it is creating the log segment 4. I think it might create up till 23 log segments or something. So you can also see this log volume, HANA log volume. This is also getting changed. Okay. Anyone having any doubts and queries, we can use this time to address them.
How long will be the class every weekend?
Actually, see, by default, it will be around somewhere between 3 to 4 hours, depending on the topic. Okay, if some topics are short, it might complete by 3 hours or like 3.5 hours. If the topics are big, it might extend up to 4 or 4.5 hours, depending.
Okay. So how many months is the plan?
It normally it will take around 1.5 months. It should take around like not maybe I think 4 5 weekends something.
Okay.
Sorry, please excuse me. I'm getting the call. Okay, so here we have got an error. Let me see. Normally, this error it is related to the space only. Here, if you see export load running this, export load running 19, elapsed 17%, elapsed time. If you want, we can check the log files over here, the latest log file, or if you suggest which log files you can check. See, it says error during execution of HDB command class. So HDB command out. So you can check this file over here. Okay, you can go for the get entire log. Successful HDB command class backup archive database name. Error during execution command class cannot create a protocol file. Please see the server log for more. Okay. So this error is not related to size. This is related to something cannot create. Maybe it may be related to permission or something. Client receives SOAP fault from server. So we can do one thing. Just try to retry it. Let's see if it's just a temporary error. It should go ahead after retry. Cannot create protocol file. Which file it is going to create? Which location? CD. CD H4D SU H4D ADM. Right. Okay, so here it is. Let me do one thing. NKDIR backup. Let me create the directory over there. This directory should cd slash LU backup. Okay, I think this is because of the permission, I think. CH own LL slash HANA data. Okay, CH own H4DADM dot SAP sys slash backup. Okay, so I've changed the permissions over here. Okay, now let me go back over here, click on retry. And monitor it from here. Let me see if it goes ahead or not. Export load job, begin loading of archives. Yeah, again it has started. Check if it is able to create anything inside. See any error in this file. Inserting number of threads 19. Okay, what happened over here? Okay, so it has moved forward. Okay, so the permission was the issue for this. So let me check, monitor it. I think the logs are moving. It's I think 70%. Okay, 50%. So it is moving. Last time I think it gave an error at 17%. Back. Okay, let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so I think it is creating. I think last I saw 24. Now I can see 25 over here. Yeah, 26. Can you see it has gone to 26? So actually it is doing something, processing. Okay, so let me update my sheet also. So where we did a year, we change to this. Now here only you need to set it to AS user SID area. AS user SID area. CH1 SOD. So it is not application user, it is database. CH1 SOD industries slash backup. So this is finished. So the job is finished. Okay, so you can see it has started extracting direct year only. So this is, we need to update the Excel sheet over here. Here instead of slash, here I need to just mark it. Slash dot. This is the correct one. So here you can see it is extracting all these files over here. Now you can see the movement here in the slash backup directory. It has started. Okay, so I think it is extraction is done. Now it is loading the restoring the backup of from the installation exports, recovering data for database. Now you can see the movement here in the data volume. See, now it will increase up till it will go up till 80 GB something, 1.7 GB. Now it is importing all the, it is restoring the backup in the database. Okay, so the installation is completed. Click on OK. Close and yeah, exit. So from here we have completed the database instance installation. Okay. Now the only remaining thing is with your primary application pass instance installation. So again you need to go over here, cancel this, again rerun the SAP installer. Okay. Again just refresh this screen browser. Okay, again, you need to go into SAP HANA 2020 SAP HANA database installation, application server ABAP, distributed system, primary application server instance. Okay, click on next. This will also take hardly 10 minutes for the installation, but the only thing is that again it will have this screen over here. It will ask for the export, and it will again take 20 minutes for verifying all the export files, all the export archives. Okay, so custom, next, master password. Okay, just click on next. Okay, so here you have to give the master password. Give the master password. Next. Kernel location. Provide the kernel location. And it is asking for all the four: SAP EXE, SAP EXE DB, IGS EXE, and IGS helper. Next. Yeah, sorry. So this is done. Click on next. Ask for SAP host agent. Upgrade host agent next. Next. Okay, instance number of the SAP HANA database. Instance number of the SAP HANA database. Password. Next. So this next. 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 Okay, this is the detail for your primary application server instance. The instance number is 01 and the primary application server host is, this is the host name. Okay, this is the existing one, ASCS 00. Next. Number of dialog procedures. Next. 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 Okay, now it is asking for the path for the DB export. Again, here it will take 20 minutes for verifying the archives. So can't help it. After verifying the archives, it might only take like 10-15 minutes for completing the installation. But this is the where it takes time. Okay, we'll wait for this to complete and then we'll continue and complete the installation. Anybody, if they are getting late and they want to leave, I think they can leave. I will share the recording with everyone. I'll share the recording link in the groups. If anybody is not in the group, doesn't get the link, they can ping me personally on WhatsApp. I shared my WhatsApp number in the chat.
What are your suggestions for practicing?
Yes, sorry, what is suggestion for what? Can you come again?
For practice, lab and
See, normally I provide the lab access for 25 hours for this course. For the HANA course, I provide 50 hours, but here in this, the VM capacity or the size is quite large, 128 GB. So that is the reason I provide only 25 hours of lab access for this course. So, but I think if you use it wisely, I think it is enough for you to cover all the practicals and do the installation. That is it. In case if you like it's 25 hours is less for you, you can collaborate with some other classmate and you can combine your lab timing. For example, 25 hours for you, 25 hours for someone else. You can collaborate for 550 hours and you can do joint practice.
Okay, if we use our own servers.
Yes.
So
if you have your own server, then that also it is good, no issues.
Right.
See,
only media we need to download.
Yes, you can. I have provided the link in all the Excel sheet. Okay, you can download the software from there.
Okay.
Whatever steps I have provided
shared
in
the
the
Excel sheets already.
Yes. Can you come again?
No, no, have you shared the Excel sheets already?
No, sorry about that, but actually I shared the Excel sheet only with the students who are enrolled for the class.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but you will share it, right? Okay.
Yes, I will share it. Otherwise, how will you practice it?
Yeah.
You can't remember. You can't just do all the typing. All those typing, it will take like 6 months for doing the installation.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. And these recordings, they'll be there only for 5 days. You mentioned in the chat something.
Yes, actually, this I only have like 1 GB account cloud storage with Zoom. Only 1 GB. So that is the reason I cannot keep the recordings for longer time. But you can download it and you can put it. You can store it in your local PC or anywhere.
Okay, sure. All right, sure.
I'm also planning to like put all these recordings on YouTube also. But actually, these are all raw recordings. It contains many disruptions and many things unwanted. So actually, I need to do the editing before uploading it on the YouTube. So that is a time-consuming activity for doing all the editing, video editings. So
Yeah.
once I find streamline that process, then I might upload all the these sessions or directly on the YouTube. So there you can have it for any number of days and times. No issue with that. Actually, practice is actually more important. Just if you have raised this topic, so just I'm sharing with everyone. See, if you do any technical course, practice is very important. And believe me, this is my fourth batch. I'm starting with it, and I've explained that the students are very enthusiastic in learning the course. But when they start with the course, they just lose the interest in doing the practice. When then they starting the course, they come to me, sir, I want to change my job. I want to prepare for the interview. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when they start with the course, after 2-3 sessions, I just ask them, do the practice, do your practice. Nothing.
Always like this.
Okay, so it has completed. Very good. So now just click on next. Okay, DDIC user has a password different from default. Nothing, just click on next. Okay, here you need to, we have done this default key. Here you need to select the default key. Okay, just click on next. Okay, again, just yes, clean up operating system users. Next, it will give you the summary. Just review the summary, and you can just click on next, and it will start with the primary application server instance installation. So done. So you can see the installation is moving very fast. The only thing which took time was the validation of the archive files. Okay, so the installation is completed now. You can see over here, execution of service completed successfully. So our S4HANA application server installation is completed now. Okay. Close. exit. Now we can close the browser because now we don't have anything else to install. So we can close the browser now. So the service is running over here. If you want to check the services, you can check the services. Everything is running. This is your ACS instance, and this is the primary application server instance. And if you want to check for the instance list, so this is the instance list. Both of them are green. This contains your message server, NQ server. This contains ABAP gateway, IC manager, and IGS. Okay, thank you everyone for attending this session. I think with this we have completed our S4HANA installation topic. If you have any doubts and queries, I think you can ask me now. Yes, fine. So no doubts and queries. Can we wind up the session?
Yeah, we'll talk one-to-one, inshallah.
Yes. Okay. Sure. Thank you, everyone. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.